Captain Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the stellar horizon, watching the swirling clouds of the Carina Nebula through the ship's observation window. The commercial freighter's hold was packed with what her manifest listed as Earth consumables, everything from protein bars and energy drinks to workout supplements and caffeine tablets. It wasn't the most prestigious cargo, but it paid the bills. "Captain, we're picking up a distress signal," Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez called from her station. "It's coming from a Verax warship." Sarah's spine stiffened. The Verax were known throughout the galaxy as a highly militant species. Their crystalline exoskeletons and natural resistance to most forms of damage made them formidable warriors. They rarely requested help, especially from humans. "Put it through," Sarah ordered, straightening her uniform jacket. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a Verax officer. Their crystalline form shimmered with exhaustion, fracture lines visible across their outer shell, signs of extreme stress in their species. "This is Commander Zix 427 of the Verax Defense Force." The alien's translated voice crackled through the speakers. "Our ship has suffered significant damage from an encounter with pirates. Our troops are depleted. We request emergency supplies and medical assistance." Sarah exchanged glances with her first officer, David Kumar. The Verax were proud warriors. For them to admit weakness meant the situation was dire. "We're a commercial vessel," Sarah responded carefully, "but we'll help however we can." The Stellar Horizons medical bay wasn't equipped for Verax physiology, but Sarah authorized the transfer of basic supplies. As her crew helped the alien soldiers aboard, Dr. James Martinez, the ship's medical officer, approached her with concern etched on his face. "Captain, these warriors are showing signs of extreme physical exhaustion. Their crystalline structures are degrading faster than their bodies can regenerate. It's like they've been fighting for weeks without rest." Before Sarah could respond, a commotion erupted from the cargo bay. A Verax soldier had stumbled into an open crate of energy drinks, crushing several cans. The liquid had splashed across their crystalline form, and to everyone's astonishment, the fracture lines in their exoskeleton began to seal themselves. The soldiers stood straighter, their crystalline form pulsing with renewed energy. What is this substance?" they demanded, their translator struggling to convey their excitement. Dr. Martinez grabbed a can, reading the label with widening eyes. "It's just an energy drink. Caffeine, taurine, B vitamins." Commander Zix 427 pushed forward, their crystalline form catching the light. "These are combat stimulants." Sarah almost laughed. "No, they're just snacks, drinks, things humans consume for a little energy boost." The Verax commander's crystalline structure vibrated, their equivalent of intense interest. "A little boost. Our sensors indicate this soldier's combat efficiency has increased by 47%. Their regeneration rate has doubled." The cargo bay fell silent as the implications sank in. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine as she watched more Verax soldiers examining the crates of human energy drinks and supplements with an intensity usually reserved for advanced weapons. "Captain," David whispered, "do you realize what this means?" Sarah nodded slowly. What humans considered everyday supplements were apparently powerful combat enhancers to alien physiologies. Their ship's hold full of protein bars and energy drinks had just become the most valuable cargo in the sector. "Commander," Sarah addressed the Verax leader, choosing her words carefully, "we would be happy to discuss a trade agreement." The commander's crystalline form pulsed with colors, a sign of strong emotion in their species. Indeed, the Verax Defense Force would be very interested in securing a supply of these human combat supplements. As Sarah began negotiations, she couldn't help but marvel at the absurdity of it all. Humanity had spent centuries wondering what they could offer to an advanced phylactic community. Who could have guessed it would be something as mundane as their workout supplements and energy drinks? But as she watched more Verax soldiers sampling different human snacks, each producing unique and powerful effects on their alien physiologies, She realized their discovery was about to change the balance of power in the galaxy. The only question was, would it lead to peace through trade, or become the spark that ignited an interstellar arms race? Back in her quarters that night, Sarah sent an encrypted message to Earth's trade authority. They needed to know that human snack foods had just become the most dangerous weapons in the galaxy, and the stellar horizon was sitting on a cargo hold full of them. 3 weeks after their encounter with the Verax, the stellar horizon docked at Nexus Station, the largest trading hub in the Orion Arm. Sarah watched through the viewport as ships from a dozen different species maneuvered through the crowded space lanes. Something was different about the usual traffic pattern. Too many military-grade vessels trying to look like civilian ships. "They're not even trying to be subtle anymore," David remarked, pointing to a Kethari battle cruiser poorly disguised as a cargo hauler. Words gotten out. Sarah rubbed her temples. The Earth Trade Authority's response to her report had been frustratingly slow, wrapped in layers of bureaucratic caution. Meanwhile, the galaxy's black market had moved with frightening efficiency. Energy drinks were now trading for prices that rivaled military-grade weapons, and protein supplements were being sold in small vials like precious gems. "Dr. Martinez has the latest analysis," Maya announced, walking onto the bridge with a holopad. "You're going to want to see this, Captain." The medical data scrolled across the screen, showing the effects of various human consumables on different alien physiologies. Caffeine caused Varax crystalline structures to regenerate at triple their normal rate. Taurine gave Kethari warriors enhanced reflexes and coordination. Even simple sugar supplements produced startling strength increases in Nexari workers. "It gets worse," Maya continued. "Remember that Centaurian merchant who bought our entire stock of pre-workout powder? Their military used it in a border skirmish yesterday. The footage is concerning." The holographic display showed Centaurian soldiers moving with impossible speed, their normally lumbering forms dancing through combat with terrifying grace, all powered by something humans use to get through morning gym sessions. "Captain," the ship's AI announced, "we have an incoming transmission from Ambassador Lai of the Earth Trade Authority." Finally, Sarah thought. Put her through. The ambassador's hologram appeared, her expression grave. "Captain Chen, I'll be brief. The Galactic Council is in chaos. 3 separate species have filed formal complaints, claiming Earth is deliberately distributing military-grade combat enhancers without proper controls. The Verax are demanding exclusive trading rights, and the Kethari are threatening to declare any unauthorized transport of human consumables an act of war. They're snacks," Sarah protested. "Things we give to children." "Which is precisely what makes this so dangerous," Lai replied. "What's harmless to humans is transformative to alien physiologies. The fact that we can produce these substances in such quantities that our bodies process them naturally. It's shifted the entire balance of power. The stellar horizon is to proceed immediately to Earth for a full cargo inspection and diplomatic briefing." Sarah shared a worried look with her crew. "Ambassador, we're picking up concerning chatter. Multiple armed ships have been tracking our movements. If these substances are as valuable as you say, then you're carrying enough military-grade stimulants to enhance an entire army." Lai finished. "We're dispatching an escort, but you'll have to be careful. Some factions might decide it's easier to take what they want than negotiate for it." After the transmission ended, Sarah pulled up the ship's manifest. Every item in their hold, energy drinks, protein bars, pre-workout supplements, even basic caffeine tablets, now represented a potential military resource. Their routine cargo run had turned them into an unwitting weapons transport. Multiple ships breaking from standard traffic patterns, Maya reported, her fingers flying over the sensor controls. "They're trying to box us in." "I'm reading power spikes," David added. "They're charging weapons." Sarah settled into her captain's chair, her mind racing. They couldn't outgun military vessels, but they had something better, intimate knowledge of their cargo's effects. "Maya, get me ship-wide. David, prepare for emergency thrust on my mark." She keyed the comm system. Attention all hands. Those of you who've been watching our visitors might have noticed something interesting. Different species react differently to our cargo. For instance, Catheri get jittery from caffeine, while Verax get sluggish from sugar. And nobody handles the combination well. As alien vessels moved to surround them, Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Sometimes the best defense wasn't firepower or speed. It was knowing exactly how your enemies might lose control of their enhanced abilities. They just had to survive long enough for their escort to arrive, and Sarah had a few ideas about how to use their cargo's side effects to their advantage. After all, if there was one thing humans understood better than anyone else in the galaxy, it was how to handle their snacks. The stellar horizon limped into Earth's orbit 3 days later, her hull scared but intact. Sarah watched the approaching Earth Defense Fleet ships with relief, though she couldn't shake the memory of their desperate escape. They'd survived by venting a carefully calculated mixture of energy drinks and supplements into space, creating a cloud of particles that had sent their pursuers' enhanced troops into chaotic disarray. It had worked, but the cost had been steep, both in cargo and implications. "Final damage report," David announced, his voice heavy. "We lost 30% of our cargo during the escape. The rest is secure, but..." He gestured to the holographic display showing news feeds from across the galaxy. The headlines told a frightening story. Catheri forces, enhanced by human stimulants, seized 3 border stations. Verax military claims exclusive rights to Earth's combat resources. Black market prices for human combat drugs reach historic highs. Dr. Martinez entered the bridge, looking exhausted. "The latest research results are in. It's worse than we thought. These substances don't just enhance alien physiologies. They're addictive. The Centaurian soldiers who use the pre-workout supplements, they're experiencing withdrawal symptoms. Their government is demanding immediate resupply, claiming it's a medical emergency." Sarah's console chimed with an incoming priority message. The holographic form of Admiral Chen materialized, her mother, though neither of them acknowledged the relationship during official communications. "Captain, the situation has escalated. The Galactic Council is deadlocked. 3 species have already mobilized their fleets, each claiming different rights to Earth's military resources. The Verax are citing first contact, the Catheri are invoking ancient trade agreements, and the Centaurians are claiming medical necessity." "How did we miss this?" Sarah asked. "We've been trading with these species for decades." "Because they've been carefully hiding their reactions," a new voice answered. Dr. Elena Santos, Earth's leading xenobiologist, stepped into view beside the Admiral. "Think about it. Would you admit to a potential rival that their snack foods could turn your soldiers into super warriors? They've been studying us, analyzing these substances in secret. The Verax incident just forced everything into the open. And now everyone wants exclusive access," Admiral Chen continued. "The Stellar Horizons Cargo Manifest has become a blueprint for their military enhancement programs. Energy drinks for the Verax, protein supplements for the Catheri, pre-workout formulas for the Centaurians, each tailored to their specific physiologies. There's more," Dr. Santos added. "We've discovered why humans are unique in this regard. Our bodies naturally produce and process many of these compounds. What's a mild stimulant to us is overwhelming to species that never evolved these biochemical pathways. We're literally walking factories of what they consider military-grade enhancement drugs." Sarah watched Earth's defense platforms activating, their weapons arrays charging, not against an invasion force, but to protect shipping lanes, to defend cargo ships carrying energy drinks and protein bars. "Your new orders," Admiral Chen announced, her expression grim. "The Stellar Horizon is being recommissioned as a test platform. Dr. Santos and her team need to understand exactly how these substances affect different species. If we can't find a way to neutralize their effects or develop safe alternatives, we're looking at a galaxy-wide arms race, and Earth will be ground zero." "With all due respect, Admiral," Sarah interjected, "we're a cargo ship, not a laboratory." "You're both now," Dr. Santos replied. "Your crew has more practical experience with these interactions than anyone else in the galaxy, and more importantly, you've proven you know how to handle the consequences." As the transmission ended, Sarah turned to her crew. The simple cargo run that had started this crisis felt like a lifetime ago. Now they were at the center of a potential galactic war, all because humans could handle their caffeine better than anyone else in the known universe. "Dr. Martinez," she called, "get your lab ready. Maya, start compiling all our sensor data from the encounters. David, work with engineering to modify our cargo holds into secure testing facilities." She paused, allowing herself a small smile. "It looks like we're going to teach the galaxy about responsible snacking." The Stellar Horizon's new mission was clear: find a way to turn their cargo from a source of conflict into a tool for peace. But as reports of enhanced alien soldiers continued to flood in, Sarah wondered if they could solve the puzzle before the galaxy tore itself apart in what future historians would surely call the Caffeine Wars. Earth's Singapore spaceport buzzed with unprecedented activity as Dr. Santos's mobile laboratory was integrated into the Stellar Horizon's cargo holds. Sarah watched teams of scientists converting storage spaces into testing facilities, each section dedicated to understanding how different human supplements affected alien physiologies. "Initial test results are fascinating," Dr. Santos announced, projecting a holographic model of various alien metabolic systems. Take the Verax. Their crystalline biology processes caffeine as a structural catalyst. A single energy drink provides the equivalent energy output of their standard week's rations. But it's the combination with taurine that makes it truly dangerous. It accelerates their natural regeneration by factors we're still trying to calculate. Sarah studied the data streams, remembering the Verax soldier's transformation and the addiction component. "That's where it gets complicated," Dr. Martinez added, joining them with fresh analysis. "Their bodies start adapting to our biochemistry. They become dependent not just on the substances, but on the specific ways humans process them. We're essentially seeing the galaxy's first case of mass xenobiological dependency." A priority alert flashed across the ship's systems. Maya's voice crackled through the comm. "Captain, you need to see this." Multiple incidents reported across 3 sectors. The tactical display lit up with confrontations. A Cathari cruiser, its crew enhanced by protein supplements, had torn through a Centaurian blockade. Verax soldiers, powered by energy drinks, were advancing through previously impregnable defenses. Small-scale skirmishes were escalating into full military operations. "It's not just about military advantage anymore," David observed, pointing to economic reports. "Earth's entire supplement industry has been classified as a strategic resource. Companies that made workout powders are now being treated like defense contractors." Dr. Santos nodded grimly. "The aliens aren't just copying our formulas. They can't. Something about human manufacturing processes, our specific chemical compositions, makes these substances uniquely potent. Every attempt to replicate them has failed. Which makes Earth the only source," Sarah concluded, "and every power in the galaxy wants exclusive access." A new alert prompted Sarah to pull up another report. Her eyes widened as she read. "The Galactic Council is convening an emergency session. They're considering classifying all human consumables as restricted military resources." "They can't do that," Dr. Martins protested. "These are basic food items for us. The economic impact alone would be devastating." Admiral Chen's hologram interrupted, materializing in the lab. "But there's a bigger concern. Dr. Santos, tell them what you discovered." The xenobiologist manipulated her holographic models, showing complex biochemical interactions. "We've confirmed why aliens can't replicate our supplements. Human biochemistry doesn't just process these substances, it moderates them. Our bodies naturally produce enzymes that prevent the more extreme effects. Without those enzymes, the enhancement effects keep building." Sarah finished, understanding dawning. "There's no upper limit." "Precisely," Dr. Santos confirmed. We're seeing early signs in the addiction cases. Enhanced soldiers are requiring higher doses to maintain the same effects, but their bodies can't regulate the substances like ours can. If this continues, we're looking at potential physiological breakdowns on a massive scale. Admiral Chen's expression was grave. The Stellar Horizon's new mission is now classified at the highest level. Dr. Santos needs to develop a way to synthesize human regulatory enzymes that other species can use. Otherwise, we're not just looking at a war. We're looking at a galaxy-wide medical crisis. Sarah turned to her crew, seeing the weight of responsibility in their eyes. They had started this journey as simple cargo haulers. Now they were at the center of a crisis that threatened the stability of known space. "Dr. Santos," she said, "what do you need?" "Volunteers," the scientist replied. "We need to understand exactly how human bodies process these substances. Your crew has the most experience with their effects on different species. You've seen firsthand what works, what doesn't, and most importantly, what goes wrong." Sarah nodded, turning to her crew. "You know the risks. This isn't what any of us signed up for, but—" "We're in," David interrupted, speaking for everyone. "Besides, who better to solve this than the people who caused it?" As her crew began working with the scientists, Sarah couldn't help but appreciate the irony. Humanity had spent centuries wondering if they could compete with advanced alien civilizations, only to discover their greatest strength lay in something as simple as their ability to handle their snacks. But as reports of enhanced alien soldiers losing control of their powers continued to pour in, she knew they were racing against time. They had to find a way to share humanity's natural safeguards, or their simple discovery would tear the galaxy apart. The truth had emerged. Human biochemistry wasn't just unique. It was essential for the safe use of these substances. Now they just had to figure out how to share that gift with the rest of the galaxy before it was too late. The Stellar Horizons laboratory hummed with activity as Sarah reviewed the latest test results. 6 months had passed since their initial discovery, and Dr. Santos' team had finally achieved a breakthrough. Through their viewport, the massive form of Unity Station dominated the view, its newly constructed labs and production facilities representing humanity's response to the crisis. "Enzyme synthesis successful," Dr. Martinez announced, examining the latest batch of stabilized compounds. "The human regulatory proteins are accepting the xenobiological modifications. We can finally produce customized stabilizers for each species." Sarah watched as Dr. Santos demonstrated their solution to the assembled holographic representatives of the Galactic Council. The scientific achievement was elegant in its simplicity. They had found a way to encode human regulatory enzymes with species-specific markers, allowing alien bodies to process human supplements safely. "As you can see," Dr. Santos explained, displaying molecular models, "these stabilizers allow for controlled enhancement effects without the risk of addiction or physiological breakdown. Each formulation is precisely tailored to specific biological systems." The Verax representative's crystalline form pulsed with interest. "And these stabilizers can be mass-produced." "Better than that," Sarah interjected, nodding to David to display their new production model. "We've developed a certification program. Any facility that meets Earth's safety standards can produce both the stabilizers and the supplements. No single species will have exclusive access." The announcement sent ripples through the council chamber. This wasn't just a scientific solution. It was a diplomatic one. Earth wasn't hoarding its advantage, it was sharing it, transforming a potential weapon into a regulated commercial product. Admiral Chen stepped forward, her uniform gleaming under the station's lights. "Earth proposes the establishment of the Galactic Enhancement Regulatory Commission. All member species will have equal access to these technologies, under strict safety protocols. What was once a source of conflict can become a foundation for cooperation." The council chamber erupted in discussion, but Sarah's attention was drawn to a private message from Maya. The sensor officer had been monitoring military movements across known space. "Captain," her text read, "enhanced troops are standing down. The Cathari have already recalled their strike forces. The Centaurians are requesting immediate medical assistance for addiction cases. It's more than just a military solution, Dr. Martinez observed, reviewing medical data from across the galaxy. These stabilizers are already helping species who suffered enhancement addiction. We're not just preventing a war, we're healing the damage already done. Sarah moved to the laboratory window, watching as ships from dozens of species docked at Unity Station. Each vessel carried scientists, doctors, and engineers, all coming to learn about safe enhancement production. What had started as a potential arms race had transformed into one of the largest cooperative scientific endeavors in galactic history. Humanity's greatest strength, Dr. Santos mused, joining her at the window, wasn't in the supplements themselves. It was in our ability to understand, adapt, and share our natural safeguards. The Stellar Horizon's original mission had been simple cargo transport. Now, she had become a symbol of something far more significant, humanity's unique role in the galactic community. Not as warriors or conquerors, but as mediators and teachers. New commercial shipping routes approved, David announced from his station. First batches of certified supplements and stabilizers are ready for distribution. The galaxy's first legal enhancement trade network is officially online. Sarah smiled, remembering the chaos of their first encounter with the Verax. Who could have imagined that human snack foods would lead to this? A new era of galactic cooperation, built on the foundation of humanity's most mundane biochemical quirk. Captain. Admiral Chen's hologram appeared one final time. The Council has approved your new assignment. The Stellar Horizon will lead the first Enhancement Regulation Task Force. Your experience makes you uniquely qualified to help implementation across all sectors. Sarah looked at her crew, the cargo haulers who had become part of galactic history. They had faced down battle fleets, solved a scientific crisis, and helped forge a new peace, all because they understood something the rest of the galaxy was only now learning. The true power of human chemistry wasn't in its strength, but in its balance. As the Stellar Horizon prepared for its new mission, Sarah couldn't help but chuckle at the manifest of their first official cargo run. Alongside the new stabilizers and certified supplements was a shipment of ordinary human energy drinks, now labeled with warnings in a dozen alien languages. The galaxy had changed forever, all because humans could handle their snacks. But perhaps that was exactly what the galaxy had needed, a reminder that sometimes the greatest discoveries come not from mighty weapons or advanced technology, but from understanding the simple things that make each species unique. And somewhere out there, some alien was probably still marveling at how humans could casually drink something that could power their entire military fleet, all while simply calling it a light afternoon pick-me-up.